welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you this adorable vest that I made out of a bunch of quilting cotton. Let's do it. So this project actually ended up being kind of impromptu, as in I didn't expect to start it or have it be filmed for this month. I actually made a necklace over here because I was working on jewelry making and I was trying to do things like wire wrapping and a whole bunch of other experimentations like that, and none of them really worked. So I put together this necklace really quick and I wasn't really sure it was worth doing an entire video about. It's cute, but it was extremely easy. So if you're interested in me making an entire video about this necklace, let me know. I do have the footage. It just didn't seem like a very interesting, like once a month sort of video, since it literally took me one day. Speaking of things that only took me one day, this vest. Technically, I did all the sewing in one day. The actual pattern making and stuff, as you may have noticed from last month, took me a very long time. This vest is based on the double-breasted vest found in the Keystone guide to jacket and dress cutting. And if you have not seen the video about drafting dynamically, make sure you go check that out. I will make sure to link it in the description below. Basically, I made an app where you can just input your measurements and it will output the single-breasted vest version. Now, I wanted to try making the double-breasted one just for fun. There's only one row of buttons here because I thought that looked kind of cute, but this is technically double-breasted. But the problem was that the instructions did not really explain how to do the double-breasted part at all. It gives you a very tiny amount of information, so I haven't actually put it on the app yet. So I kind of guesstimated. I think what I ended up doing was basically finding the cutoff point along this line, along the bust line, and then I drew straight down and then just copied from the dart over. That was kind of all I did. I'm not really sure that's accurate in any way. It kind of worked, as you can see, but yeah, it wasn't perfect. In general, it fit decently. I just wanted it to be a little bit more snug. I feel like the vest is a little funky, but that's mostly because this is an 1895 pattern, and so they wanted to have this really rounded chest area. So once I make myself a corset cover that has a lot of poof in the front, I think it'll be perfect. I could have added a bit of padding in, but I knew that it was already going to be pretty snug, so I didn't want to add that in and have it not fit. You're probably thinking, what are all of these like lines and extra pieces and everything? Well, I have to do things the hard way. So when I decided that I wanted to make a rather cheap version of this vest, I wanted to make it out of quilting cotton, which I have quite a bit of from other projects, from things my mom made for me, like this one, and this one, and you know, just from a bunch of other things. So I decided that I wanted to use quilting cotton just because it would be a cheaper alternative and I had a lot of it laying around, and I was like, hey, why should we make a vest in just one color when we can make it out of a bunch of colors? So I taped the whole pattern together and then I drew out where I wanted lines. And most of these lines are going to cross changes. So like at the top of the dart, at the bust point, at the side, at the waist, down to the bottom here. Wherever you have a lot of changes going on in the curve, you want to make sure you have a pattern piece going through that change. But it doesn't have to be where the seam originally was. The only seam from the original is actually this one here, which is one of the front darts. And that is it. Everything else I have completely made up. I think it's really cute. I really like it. It was a lot of fun to put together and it was really fast. So yesterday actually was when I completed the main bulk of it. So I had the pattern all ready and I wanted to cut it out and sew it. The first thing I did on Thursday was I traced all of the pattern pieces onto some of this blue fabric right here. Now this I'm sadly running out of. I hope to find some more like it. It's nice and stiff, which means I can use it as a bit of strengthening. I've done it in a couple of corsets already. Also, it just works really well to just bulk it up. So on the other side of all of these pieces is some of this fashion fabric. So I can just draw on that and then sew the fashion fabric underneath it, and I can use the drawings on the stiffening layer to show me where all the seams are supposed to be. Next, I started putting it together. I think I started with this piece to the one in the back, and then I did all of the bottom section right there. I didn't do anything super complex for any of this, no French seams or anything, because it has a whole lining. Basically, I just needed to slap the pieces together and hope that it would work. I did mess around a little bit with like which direction I wanted to iron it on the inside to have it lay, to make it look like it's above or below. And it doesn't really matter a whole lot. That was kind of all just to taste. I sewed all the way around the neckline and most of the lower hem all together, leaving just a little bit of space so I could turn it inside out. And once I'd done that, I folded in the armholes and top stitched those down so that they are closed. That's basically it, honestly. Today I added in the buttonholes using my fancy buttonhole sewing machine foot. Then I sewed on the buttons. I was originally going to have 2 rows of buttons, and I still think that would be cute. But honestly, I kind of like it with just the one offset row of buttons. Let me know what you think. Even though this ended up not being the video I was expecting for this month, it did end up working. Hopefully I will have time to edit this in the next 6 hours. I also need to go film the photo shoot. So let's roll the overly cinematic reveal.